What I am researching for this class, for the 8 a.m. class, is why should we pay college athletes? And I think we should pay them. Um, the definition of a college athlete is a college athlete is defined as an amateur level athlete that is not paid but provided for by scholarships. And the NCAA calls every college athlete an amateur athlete. They can't be classified as a pro athlete, or they don't qualify to participate in NCAA sports. So they define amateurism as a practicing of an activity, especially a sport, or an unpaid rather than a professional basis. Um, so the biggest thing that has to deal with not paying athletes or the scholarships or the amateurism status is the NCAA bylaw 12.1.2. The average person, that doesn't mean anything, but that's how the NCAA creates their rules, and that's where they classify this one under. So under that bylaw 12.1.2, it says an individual loses amateur status and will not be eligible for intercollegiate competition in a particular sport if the individual uses his or athletic skill to pay for any form in that sport, accepts a promise of pay even if the compensation is provided after completion of intercollegiate athletics participation, signs a contract or commitment of any kind to play professional athletics regardless of its legal accountability or any consideration receives directly or indirectly a salary, reimbursement of expenses, or any other form of financial assistance from a professional sport organization based upon athletics, skill, or participation except as permitted by NCAA regulations, which is hard to find, competes on any professional athletics team and knows or had any reason to know that the team is a professional athletics team, even if no pay or reimbursement for expenses was received. Enters into a professional draft or an agreement with an agent or other entity to negotiate a professional contract. Enters into an agreement with an agent. So the NCAA is considered a nonprofit organization. They don't claim that they make any money, but that is not the truth at all. The NCAA back in 2006 reported that from TV rights alone, the Division I men's basketball championship profited $844.3 million. From the championship ticket sales, NCAA made $133.4 million, and that was found right off the NCAA website. Those two revenues combined equals $977.7 million. Annually, the NCAA takes in a little over $1 billion in revenue, mostly from the sponsorship of the men's Division I basketball tournament, popularly known as March Madness, via ticket sales and television contracts. The college sports industry represents more than $11 billion U.S. enterprise. At present, over 50 U.S. colleges generate upward of $70 million per year in athletic revenues. Meanwhile, 28 colleges generate an annual athletic revenues that exceed $100 million. So I think the biggest problem with scholarships don't cover all the needs that students have each year while in college, and to prove that, while students under full scholarship, an athlete will have to pay somewhere between $8,000 to $12,000 out of pocket to bridge the cost of living gap. Also, the Collegiate Athletic Coalition, also known as the CAC, estimates that the NCAA scholarships are worth about $2,000 less than the cost of attendance at a university. Um, Also, the NCAA won't allow these athletes to be compensated for how much they make their universities in the NCAA. And it was reported that modern day intercollegiate athletic environment is more appropriate to view universities as businesses that have interests other than merely educating their students. With colleges and universities profiting from shoe and apparel contracts, concession sales, ticket sales, and increased endowment in a world based on the performance of an athletic team, it is logical to begin looking at the colleges and universities more than just an institutions of higher learning. So education got put on the back burners for all these athletes because they need them to compete so well as student athletes. That education doesn't matter as much now because the more or the better they compete, and the more they win, and the more fame and TV time that they get these universities, the more money that they're getting a chance to make, and that means a lot to these universities. They don't get compensation for their image at all, which is burned all over everything, TV, video games, in public, wherever. Athletes aren't compensated for people wearing their jerseys. They bring value to those products and don't receive that money. Athletes don't make money off their names and self being on video games, while the NCAA and EA Sports is making money off them. It's reported while games such as EA Sports, NCAA football, and NCAA basketball, and the 2K Sports College Hoop Series do not come prepackaged with players' names. The process by which a video game user can add student athletes' names to their physical likeliness is quite simple. It's also reported that Kirk Herbstreit came out and said that even though they knew they weren't supposed to, they went on and pre-recorded a lot of the top dog college sport athletes' names just to be able to put in the game as an add-on. And their time is invaluable. Like, you can't judge their time as a student athlete. They don't have enough time to be able to get a job to be able to bridge that gap of cost of living. The average Division I college football player devotes 43.3 hours per week to his sport. This doesn't include schooling or activities. 3.3 more hours than the average American work week. Now college athletes have a 20-hour limit each week that they can do sport activities, and that includes everything sport related that the coach wants to have. Also, this doesn't even include the time that they're coming in the gym on their own to get better, which obviously we all know that's like a big part for a player to get better. They have to be able to train on their own and have the will and drive to make themselves better. They're also, for most universities, are make them do community service, and it's a big thing for a lot of teams. And then the hours just spent out in the community representing their team in the university. The thing is, these players have to go out in the community and put on such a good show and good face, and can never slip up or mess up because they'll be put in the paper and shamed if they have that. While the regular student can go to the bar, get wasted, get drunk, do sloppy stuff, and nobody will ever know about it. Or if they do, they laugh it off because they think it's hilarious. And then school, going to class, studying, homework, study hall, mentor meetings, and group work. School is now second to athletics, like I said earlier. So these are just all the main reasons I think student athletes should be paid or compensated, and that's all I have to say about it.